We are live. This is the NBA betting card. We're on the Fan Speak Network, and I am here today with Tyler Hicks. And Tyler, before we break down today's card, a couple things happen in the NBA. Do we start with the trade or do we start with the dismissal?
I think we got to start with the coach. I mean, that's a little bit of a surprise, don't you think? Or does this have this?
That's a huge surprise. Aren't they 30-13?
Yeah, they're 30-13, but doesn't this have the same feel that David Blatt had?
Yeah, I was reading the chat, and that's what some of my buddies were talking about. Yeah, maybe. Not really. Because this isn't a championship roster. They screwed up when they shipped Drew Holiday out.
You don't think if they got the right coach in there that they can put things together?
Did you hear who's rumored?
Doc Rivers.
Isn't that terrible?
I think that's bad, but don't you think that helps on the defensive end a little bit? I don't think they need help on the offense.
I don't think it helps at all. I think the game is way past him. Look at how much better Philadelphia looks this year under Nick Nurse.
No, I agree. I think they should go with someone else, but
yeah, I don't think you fire your coach in the middle of the season.
I think Adrian Griffin was kind of just the wrong guy all along.
Yeah, I mean, remember we brought up some concerns when he had that issue with Terry Stotts, and then Terry Stotts quit, right? And for like an old grizzled veteran pro like that, it just kind of lets you know that this was not, this could have a disaster written all over it. So I want to remind this to all the Twitter fans. And hold on, I screwed up my projections. Oh, never mind. I know why it's showing up that way. This is dumb.
They said they said the Pistons can hang their banner that says the Bucks were 30-13, but they didn't beat us by enough, so they fired their coach.
Just whenever you claim, hey, fire this coach. Hey, I'm looking right at you, Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Just remember,
this is different.
Who you can get might be a lot worse, right? So don't fire your coach unless you have someone better. What's up?
This is way different. I think the Steelers thing. The Steelers thing is just like I think we've gotten everything we could out of Tomlin. Like, yeah, we could just keep him around and like just keep doing what we're doing. But in the end, I kind of consider us to be somewhat purgatory. Like, we're not going to win a Super Bowl. We're not going to bottom out to get a franchise-changing elite quarterback. So we're stuck right in the middle. To where like the Bucks, they got rid of Budenholzer after winning a championship. That could have been the wrong move all along. Maybe they had the right guy, he just had one bad year. Yeah. They go with Adrian Griffin, which was the wrong choice. You've seen the players didn't like him, so you had to get rid of him because once they got into the playoffs, I think they could have had a bad stretch where you've seen the players start to turn on the coach and they lose a series that we never thought they could lose.
Yeah, I'm shocked personally. And we'll see what happens. Obviously,
is there any
if they hire the right guy, it's great.
That you think should get this job?
No, because I didn't even think about coaching openings for a championship team right now. Who would you think? So let's just say, because you can't get an assistant off another team, right? So it has to be someone that's not working right now. Yes. Didn't Chris Finch get hired as an assistant midseason?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about him too before we dive right in to tonight's games. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
That's why I think
it's a stupid move.
Is there any way they rehire Bud?
It's the only good option. What else are you going to do? Who's going to come in and make that team better? Stan Van Gundy, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson? Like, who are these available coaches? I guess if you can poach an assistant, right, you can get a Kenny Atkinson.
They need to get a defensive-minded guy. That's what they need. The offense is there. If they can get a coach that can get some of these guys to buy in.
Do you think even Thibodeau would make that team a good defensive team? I'm just saying him because he's the top defensive coach that comes to my mind.
I think he can hide some of their deficiencies.
Okay. Well, that's fair then.
I also think
can. Right? Look how much better the Sixers look under Nurse.
Yeah.
And the roster's not that much different.
I mean, when's the last year that an actual defensive dominant team won the league where their offense wasn't their like main like engine? Like Denver's main engine was their offense. Like it's probably the Lakers bubble season, probably their defense.
Even then, Denver's defense was really good.
They were good, but their offense was the engine. We even talked about it last year. It'd be like they would.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the way the NBA has changed, but still, like that was a good defensive team. They were getting stops.
Yeah,
and if you think they had,
the Bucks still have Giannis and Lopez, like they can still put together a defensive scheme. I think in the end, that can get stops, and they're going to score a shit ton of points.
Yeah, I just worry they don't have that Aaron Gordon, that KCP, right? Like it was like they had a guy for a big wing and a guy for a small wing. You got Giannis for a big wing, but he's not going to help for a small wing unless he pulls like what LeBron did on Derrick Rose. That would be sweet. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't think he can do that.
Ago now?
I think he doesn't have the quickness to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think he would just get into foul trouble too quick. Like to where LeBron was able to get out of Rose's way on certain plays. Like he would have racked up fouls on Giannis quick, and he'd be like, "Well, this doesn't work."
I still think the Bucks should try and trade for Davion Mitchell.
I think they'll definitely make a move. I honestly think like just all the old Bucks pieces coming back, like Malcolm Brogdon, adding him to that backcourt, great ad, I would think.
Where is he at right now?
Portland. They said there's rumors that the Knicks are involved in a trade package for him right now.
Why does anyone want? I guess. Would you want him on the Knicks?
Solid backup point guard.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm devaluing him too much. All right.
If your starter gets hurt, that's a guy that can fill in and play 20 plus games as a starter. Has experience in the playoffs, played in the finals last year. I know he didn't play all that well, but he still played. He was also hurt. I think he's a solid piece to have on a team. Can defend, I'd say 1 through 3.
Okay, there you have it. Let's talk about the trade. I thought it was good for both sides.
I mean,
Kyle Lowry's absolutely done. They got a scorer. Now, most places, I don't think Terry Rozier would help because it'd be superfluous to the scoring they already have, right? Like he doesn't help Phoenix, right? He wouldn't really help Sacramento. Doesn't really help Dallas. He really helps Miami, a team that can get away with his defensive liabilities, and now they can just completely stagger him with Tyler Hero. And at the same time, the Hornets are going nowhere.
You have to stagger him with Hero because now you just have the white and the black version of the same player.
But isn't that great? Because now you get it for 48 minutes.
Oh, I think it's good for your offense, but if you ever put them on the floor together, you ain't getting any defense out of either guard spot. You're getting.
I don't know. I mean, they ran Hero and Robinson before. And if you're up by 10, you can run that lineup.
I mean, I guess
you're going to keep scoring.
I see those two guys getting cooked as a backcourt if they ever put them on the floor together.
Well, yeah. I mean, Hero and Robinson used to get cooked too, but they would score on the other end, and then they would run it for 3 or 4 minutes, and then
at least Robinson's 6'8" and has some length. Like Terry Rozier's like 6'1". Like that switch for a big guard beat him up.
No, I mean I know you're right, but Duncan Robinson's so slow it doesn't really matter how tall he is, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right? I mean, Joe Ingles is 6'8". He's not stopping anybody. Okay. I think it's a good trade for both teams. Good for Charlotte for recognizing that this is an absolute disaster, and they get a protected first round in 27, which will probably be, but it's unprotected in 28. I mean, so there's potential there. But even then, getting a pick in the 20s for Terry Rozier, yeah, I thought it was a great move for both teams.
I'm the more I look at like when I hear these NBA trades and it's like, oh, they get first round picks. Unless like for instance, like this one, like this pick isn't gonna pop up till 2027 or 2028. Yeah. The Heat roster can be a complete different roster at that point. But like when a top team, like for instance, like that Pacers Siakam trade. Like the Pacers are probably on their way up. They're probably going to make the playoffs now every year with Siakam and Halliburton as long as they stay healthy. A lot of these picks in the next, say, 2 to 3, 4 years, those are all late picks in the first round. Like I just feel like that's a waste. Like, oh, you got all these.
It's not though, because they're cost control guys that can come in and make an impact right off the bat.
I mean, I guess so, but how many times do pick in the 20s actually make impact? Like this isn't the NFL.
3 out of 10. So you get a 30% chance as opposed to a 0% chance.
Yeah.
Do you see my point?
I mean, I guess so.
Like, what's Terry Rozier doing for you? I got 30 before I had a 0% chance of it.
I feel like in the end, like if we went back and like looked through some of these trades, like some of them could look really good. Like, oh, you traded this guy for these picks, and these picks turned into these exact players for this team.
Right.
But I think there's other ones where you could look back and be like, you traded the superstar, and in the end,
but this isn't the superstar. This is the role player.
No, I understand.
From draft
I was just
position
giving like the example of the trade, like that.
No, you're right. It depends on what you do with it, but these draft picks are a crapshoot, so you want to have more bites at the apple, so to speak. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because you're right. I mean, it is only a 3 or 10 chance, but now you got probably like a 5 or 6.
I want those picks long. Like I know it might not be the exact coach or GM making the picks 6 years from now, 7 years from now.
Well, I want Tyler. We're getting old. That's 3 years from now.
Yeah, but I want those picks down the line from now, like to where that team could be in full rebuild mode, and they look and they have no picks, and we have them all.
I just think you're getting something for nothing because I know Terry Rozier is a good player, but he was doing absolutely nothing for your team this year.
Yeah,
there's no way having him on the roster helps your rebuild at all. Now you got more room for Brandon Miller to chuck, and you get, like I said, a 30% chance that you get a solid player 3 years from now. I mean, it's just win-win in my mind.
No, I agree.
Okay. So we've had some fun, hey, whatever. You want to get to some slander right now, Tyler? Are we ready?
Go for it.
Have you ever seen a player who had more than 60 points in the game get benched?
Did he get benched at the end of that game? I didn't put it on.
Have you ever heard a player get like 60? What did he end up with? 60-something points?
And they lost.
And his coach is talking crap about him after the game?
Would you hear what Ann Edwards said? He said they weren't locked in on the game. He says they were fully once Cat got it going, they were fully in on him trying to get 100. And then he went cold. The Hornets were actually playing team basketball. It was like, oh, they're just gonna come roaring back into this game, and that's exactly what they did. He stole the game in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something new happens in the NBA. I don't want to say every night, but it definitely keeps us on our toes because I mean, I can never predict that. Can you imagine me saying that on the show yesterday? Oh, well, I think Cat will get 60 points tonight and they get benched in the fourth quarter. Talk about addition by subtraction, right? I'm telling you, I'm happy that the Hornets got rid of Rozier. And everybody knows this, but the Timberwolves got to get rid of Towns, man. They just got to get anything. I'll take anything. I'll take that same 2027 draft pick from Charlotte.
I'm telling you.
It's just not working.
The good old swap spread, Cat for Julius Randle, it fixes everything. Everyone's going to go, oh, Julius Randle's playing well, but let's not forget.
I think you send Cat to like a lottery team that wants to get better.
I mean, I guess so, but I feel like that's the most obvious trade.
Didn't Thibodeau already coach Towns?
He did coach him in Minnesota.
He's not going to want him back.
There's a report out there now that says Giannis reportedly lost faith in Adrian Griffin. That's why this happened.
So he got fired?
Yeah.
Don't let my favorite player become LeBron. Firing coach. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, was there one other thing I wanted to talk about last night? I mean, just review the plays. We went 2-1. That makes me 4-1 over my last 5. I think we're dialed in. I'm re-weighting everything, and I noticed one flaw today that came out in 1 out of the 10 teams. So that's just something to keep in mind. But I'm having fun with it, and now that football is winding down, right, and Tyler's kind of taken the driver's seat in the National Football League, I'm having some fun, and I'm going to get us back to that same record we had at the end of last season. It's going to be even better because I'll do it in a shorter amount of time. So you ready to dive into today, Tyler?
Let's do it.
Is there anything else in the NBA? I mean, I guess I haven't talked to you about basketball for a couple of days.
I mean, Embiid, we talked about Cat 60. Embiid put up 70 and won the game. Does he win the MVP as long as he makes a 65 games threshold? Probably.
Before I was saying they were going to have to give it to Jokic just because of how good he was in the playoffs last year. And sometimes I think that they give the award a year late. But yeah, the way he's playing, I mean,
he was plus 190 going into last night. Now he's plus 130. Jokic plus 250. SGA plus 350. Luka 9-1.
So you're basically getting plus 250 that Embiid doesn't play 65 games.
Yeah,
Not bad, right?
and Victor has overtaken Chet as rookie.
How many has Embiid already missed? Do you have Embiid games played and the 76ers total games played?
I can get that pulled up.
Yeah, pull that up real quick. I'd be curious. And here's what I'm thinking, right? Your base, I would be really surprised if they gave it to SGA. And I know he's a valuable candidate. And if you got him at 9-1, and I know people had him at 14-1 before, I'm not saying you're making a bad bet. And maybe you put both in. But it just feels like right now it's a two-man race, right? With SGA being a tier below. And if Oklahoma City got the number 1 seed and Denver fell down to like 5 or 6, I just don't see that happening. And he's the most durable. He's the least likely to get injured. Did you get those numbers, Tyler?
He's played in 32 games, and they have played, what's this, 29, 30. They're 29 and 13, so they've played, what,
42. He's played, what, did you say 32?
32, yeah, so he's missed 10.
So he has 15 left.
Yeah.
With half the season to go?
Yep.
Yeah, don't worry about it then. He's going to make it. That's not
as long as he does,
I thought he was closer to half. So he's got a – yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think Embiid looks pretty good. MVP doesn't have to be on a beat team. No, but it comes from the best team a lot. And if you're making cases for SGA to upset one of these two, they have to be the number 1 seed. Would you agree, Tyler? They have to be
I'd say
number 1 or 2, and Denver has to be below 5.
I would say yes, but if Embiid misses the threshold and Jokic falters down the stretch like he did last year, they probably have to give it to SGA.
Yeah, maybe. All right. So good arguments for everybody. Let's dive into tonight.
I think it's a 3-man race unless Luka goes absolutely nuts.
Which isn't even. I mean, that's completely plausible, right? So 4-man race. Yeah, a lot of talent in the NBA right now. Too bad they play so many games. But let's dive into those games right now. The Denver Nuggets are -4.5. They're in Indiana. They're taking on the Pacers. Tyler, we got to look at the injury report for this one because I thought this line was short until I looked at it earlier. Let me refresh it right now. I'm looking for the news on Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter. I see them both probable. And I see Isaiah Jackson and Andrew Nembhard as 50-50. Tyrese Halliburton out for the Indiana Pacers. Let me pull up some of these trends of how these guys have done when they faced off recently. Sorry about that.
There's got to be some weird trends here because doesn't this number seem soft?
No, not to me. Where do I have it at? No, I have it as a 4-point Pacers win, right on the number. Oh, you got -5.5, don't you? I -4.5. And yeah, I think -5 on Bet Online.
Yeah, 5.5 on FanDuel.
Wow. Okay, full point difference between bookmaker. Bet Online's right in the middle at 5, and you and FanDuel in the American books are at 5.5. Yeah, -5 here. Looks like Denver's taking money. Denver's 5-0 in their last 5 times playing, but they got to cover on the road. Total's gone over in 7 of Denver's last 8 games when playing on the road against Indiana. Although we have to look, Indiana averages 125 points per game, but during this current stretch, they're only at 113 points per game without Tyrese over their last 5. That's why the total's gone under in 6 of Indiana's last 7 games. I kind of like an under here, Tyler. I don't want to lay it with the Nuggets, and I don't want to take the Pacers. If I get involved with this game, I play the under. What do you think?
I kind of like the Nuggets here. I mean, I don't see how the Pacers really keep this close. I mean, they're already missing their engine in Tyrese Halliburton. If they start to lose some of these guys in the front court, that's going to leave Siakam and Turner just kind of by themselves to guard Jokic.
This is a deep team, though.
It is, but they still can't play defense. Denver is a tank of a team. They played them at home on January 14th. They beat them 117 to 109. That was on a 240 total. So the underlook, I do like that because I don't think
Halliburton missed that one too.
Yeah,
make
so
sure we note that. So
I think we could see a similar game played like that. 5.5 could just be a sweat of a bet, but I think in the end they get there. Maybe a Jokic triple-double and win, or a double-double and win in a parlay could be a way to get on this, because I just think that's an easy win for them in the end. I just don't see how they guard them. Denver looks like they're going to have their entire roster out there other than Starter, who's not even all that meaningful of a piece.
So Porter we're fine with. Gordon's the one that I really want.
I mean, what's his probable tag for? Right shoulder sprain. I think he'll play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just worried this is a letdown spot for Denver. For example, so they had the big game against Philadelphia. They lost that. Then they bounced back with that huge win over Boston.
Wouldn't the letdown spot have been the Washington game then?
Yeah, and they didn't cover.
Yeah, they were also 12.5-point favorites, but they won it by 9.
Yeah, we had that. So that was one of my plays. I watched it. We were actually pretty lucky.
I feel like now we're getting them at a discounted number versus how much better is Indiana without Halliburton than Washington? They're still better, but I don't
know because we don't know how good Indiana is with Siakam. He's only played one game so far, right?
But I don't think. I think the whole reason he is there is to be the second fiddle to Halliburton.
But tonight he's going to be the engine.
Yeah, but I don't think
he's done it before.
I don't think that really works with the way this roster is built. It's built to run and gun, not run through a forward.
I kind of agree with you. That's why I was surprised everyone liked the trade so much.
They couldn't beat the Suns. They lost to them by 7. Understandable, It's the Suns. They couldn't beat Portland. They lost to them by 3.
To be fair, everybody missed that game.
Okay, so they beat the Kings by 5, crushed by Utah.
Let's just throw those games out because those were before the trade.
I mean, I guess so, but I don't know. I think it's.
I think we stay away from this game unless you want to join me on the under. I don't want to bet the side.
I'd bet the under, but I like the Denver side too. We don't have to bet the side, but I think Denver wins.
Okay, well, I'm glad to have you back because this would have been a quick breakdown for me. I just think it's tough to project Indiana here. And when I'm going on the under here, I'm going off the strength that, Indiana's points per game is dropping so much with Halliburton out of the lineup. And why would we think Siakam's going to speed things up? Right? Which is why you question the fit to begin with, because he's a slower half-court player. So here's how the trade works in my mind. And we're just talking long-term.
He's been absolutely dog shit against the Nuggets just in his priors.
Yeah, that's why Gordon has to be out there to make that Nuggets bet. I bet you Aaron Gordon has a lot to do with that.
Okay, let's check his.
Isn't he the perfect guy to guard him?
Let's check his
more athletic and the same size.
Let's check his 2 games he did good in. Okay, so the one game he did good in, there's no Aaron Gordon in this game.
Yeah.
That was 2022, so yes, he was there. In the other game in 2022, did Gordon play? Yes, he did play, and Siakam went for 35, 10, and 7.
Yeah, I mean, good players will be bad. I mean, good offensive players will beat great defenders.
Yeah, but that is one game out of how many is this? 13,
5, right?
Yeah,
13.
Yeah, he's played the Nuggets 13 times. I guess some of those games wouldn't have had Aaron Gordon there, but let's see. I'll filter this out: Siakam versus Aaron Gordon.
All right.
He averages 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists in 21 games versus Aaron Gordon in his career.
Okay. Let's just stay away from it altogether. I kind of like the under, but you know what? Like, my projections suck for this game. So I say we screw it.
Okay.
We'll double back. Maybe I'll do the under. If I had projected it a little lower, but now that I switched everything, it's not projecting everything under anymore. All right, Tyler. This is the game that I spent the most time of my morning thinking about. And it just shows you what a sicko I am that I spend this much time thinking about this shit to begin with. But the New York Knicks are in Brooklyn. They're taking on the Nets. So the big deal to me in this game. So first of all, we want to fade Brooklyn. Let me go through some of their stats. They're absolutely terrible, right?
They got to be close to selling pieces off too, right?
I mean, I think they're 3-17 over the last 20. Yeah. And you're right. They're selling pieces off. So, okay, we have a team we want to fade in Brooklyn. We have the team we think we want to fade them with in the New York Knicks. Here's my concern. Isaiah Hartenstein is most likely going to miss the game, right? Or is he officially out?
He's doubtful. It already says Jericho Sims is starting.
So Isaiah Hartenstein has been, I would say, one of the pleasant surprises of the season for the idea that when Mitchell Robinson went out, we thought the defense would get worse, and he stepped in and played just as well or better than Mitchell Robinson. With Jericho Sims in there, do we think that vaunted Knicks defense follows? You think Nick Claxton has a big night, whereas if Hartenstein was in there, I would say that we can bet Nick Claxton unders. That's my concern there. So here's where I'm looking at it. At the end of the night, right, we talk about how we feel after we place bets, and it's probably not the best way to do it, but we're going to talk about it anyways. I'm either going to be like, I knew it. Hartenstein wasn't that big a deal. We have a bunch of advantages on the wings. This is a perfect team, right, because I have OG. I don't think any of these Nets defenders match up well with Brunson. They're better against wings. I can put OG on Mikal Bridges. I'm not too worried about Cam Johnson or Dorian Finney-Smith beating me, and I think the Knicks' good offense is going to beat the Nets' good defense, especially on the wings. Or, damn it, I knew that they were not good without Hartenstein out. This is so stupid. I should have taken the Nets +4. What do you think?
Claxton's offense doesn't really scare me all that much. I mean, what's he going to do? Catch a couple alley-oops on us, get a couple putbacks? Like, it'd be more of his defense that worries me. And I'm not as scared of the Nets defense as a whole. I don't think one guy is just going to kill us here. I think Hartenstein missing is going to speed up this game. Like, I think in a game, if he played, I think we could probably look under. With him out, I would not look at the under. I think you could see the Knicks push the pace. Randall could just get more rebounds here, maybe grab us like 12 to 14 rebounds, get a nice double-double. OG can get in there on the rebounds. Jericho Sims could even grab double-digit rebounds in this game, and I see a rebound prop on him of 5.5. So you could even ladder that one up and get some nice prices on that. I think this is a spot spread we can bet the Knicks. I think because wasn't the last time they played, didn't Brooklyn beat them? Because didn't we try and bet the Knicks? Let me pull up their most recent matchup. I think that was the last time they played. Let's see.
So the Knicks are 9-2. They've gone under their last 5 games, but we just talked about the defensive downgrade that they potentially could have. Total's gone over in 5 of Brooklyn's last 6 home games. Now, to be fair, I think this is is this the dreaded first game home? If it is, that could push me over the top here towards taking.
I think they just. Let's see.
Yes, first game home. I like that.
Yeah, that's the full way.
And New York is rested because they've been in New York this whole time, and this isn't much travel.
They blew them out the last 3 times they played. I'm fully down to bet New York here.
Dude, it's such a public side, but Tyler, I already know a contrarian side that I'm taking later. So we'll go one public, one contrarian. We'll find out when we get there if you're down with that. But okay, well, you talked me into it. I went back and forth all morning. My ideas were either Knicks or don't pass. I couldn't get to Brooklyn, but at the same time, I did see the plausible scenarios where this works. Brooklyn's fired up. The Knicks lose a lot of defensive ability, missing that rim protection. The Knicks get killed on the offensive glass because they don't have Hartenstein in there cleaning up everything. And they put Bridges on Brunson, and he has a slow game. But let's go to my original thought. Even Hartenstein out, the Knicks are still pretty good, and Brunson is too small for all the wing defenders that the Knicks have. We also have that silent strike idea with Spencer Dinwiddie, which I don't take too much into it, but it can only be bad for the Nets.
Yeah.
Right? It can't be good. Okay. All right, I think we got there. Let's see. What do I have on Bet Online? -4 at Bet Online. What's it, bookmaker? -4 at both books. All right, I'll take Brooklyn. I'll use bookmaker for the reduced juice. Let's keep it going. I don't like this next game. And this is the game where I reweighted last 5 and it's too high. And it didn't matter for 9 teams, but for Utah it did. Because for Utah, they average 117.3 points per game, Tyler, but they're at 132.8 over their last 5.
Oh, boy.
So it completely skewed my numbers. So I don't like my projections here. That's just too much. Right? It's just too much. So when we're modeling, we are being aware. And this is why sometimes I get annoyed with the analytics debate. As someone who creates projections, I know that these projections aren't perfect and they have flaws. So the idea that these numbers they give out are perfect pisses me off. Like, oh, they have a 50% chance to go for it. Do they? Do they? Regardless. All right. Jazz are plus 6.5. They're in New Orleans. They're taking on the Pelicans. Tyler, you know me. You've done much better reading the Pelicans this year than I have. So I'm happy to have you here to talk to me about this. My projections have this game. See, they're screwed. There's only a 2-point Pelicans win, but that doesn't make sense, right? It seems like this is a pretty fair number here. So New Orleans' last game was the loss to Phoenix, in which Razor was right and I was wrong. I thought New Orleans looked good at home there. Utah's most recent game was in Houston, where they covered but lost, and that was the one that I'm still lamenting. Alperen Şengün's missed free throws with 1 second to go. Tyler, however, Utah has done well against Oklahoma City, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 against New Orleans. Also, Utah, we think of them as this crazy road team, but I think the books have caught on. Crazy bad road team. Utah 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 on the road. So trends are actually liking the play on Utah, liking the way that my projections have turned out. I personally don't trust them. The total's gone under in 4 of the last 5 against Utah when these two teams have faced off. What else do we got here? Yeah, I got this a little bit under. I don't want to get involved in the total at all. If I were to play it, I would take the Jazz. I don't know, though. I have no idea what to do with the Pelicans. What do you think?
I think it might be too many points in the end, but I also think you could see the Pelicans blow this team out and cover this number easily. Look at their schedule spread. Their last 10. Not the teams they've played. Look at the dates on these games. They made this team play January 2nd, January 3rd, January 5th. That January 5th game, they were blown out by the Clippers. Mm-hmm. They get 2 days, or then they go and play the Kings on January 7th. So they play, 4 games in a week, 4 games in 5 days. Then on the 10th, they get a couple days off. They go and play Golden State. They absolutely obliterate Golden State when they're rested. They beat them 141-105. Since that game, they played on the 12th, the 13th, which was a back-to-back. They get 1 day off. They go play on the 15th. They play on the 17th. They got blown out by Phoenix on the 19th. Now they get 3 days off. I feel like that team wasn't rested in that Phoenix game, even though it was their first game back home, like you were trying to back them in. I think they were fully fatigued. Now they got some rest. I think they win the game. 6.5 might be too many, but in the end, it might not be enough. So I think the Pelicans win the game. Probably just stay away from this one altogether, though.
Yeah, let's stay away. Because to me, I would play the Jazz if I played it.
Yeah, like I see your logic there, but I also see the pathway where it's like a fully rested Pelicans team, fully healthy. Just walk.
I don't think the edge is enough to beat the VIG.
Yeah, because it's like
I'll take Jazz at 50-50, but not at -110. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Jazz have been able, they dominate on the inside with their size with Walker Kessler. Uh-huh. There's going to be no advantage on the inside today. There's a lot of pathways that the Pelicans just blow this team out. And also, who in the hell is covering Brandon Ingram for the Jazz?
I mean,
I'm almost positive this is one of those matchups that he absolutely obliterates.
An edible? I don't know. All right, let's stay away from that one. But we're on opposite sides once again. Slight lean to the under. Don't love it. Portland Trailblazers are plus 13.5 in Oklahoma City. Tyler, the total is 233. I have this as a 11.5 point win by Oklahoma City. But Tyler, Oklahoma City has played Portland twice, if I'm remembering off the top of my head right, and they won one by like 70, the other by 40. So this seems to be an absolutely terrible matchup for Portland. I'm a little worried about the zigzag. The most recent time they played was that, what was it, 133-70 or something? I mean, it was bad. So to me, it's Oklahoma City or pass because I'm not betting on the zigzag. I'm just worried before I jump in that the zigzag is going to kill me.
I don't think there's much of a zigzag here, spread. They haven't beat him in 10 tries. I mean, that's even with OKC being a terrible roster and Portland being somewhat good those couple times. So
yeah, it's weird, huh?
Portland's been able to keep up with their guard play. Like, they don't dominate you on the inside. I don't see Ayton just taking advantage of Chet down low and beating him up. Like, Chet's probably the best big man in this game already, and he's a rookie. The guards for OKC are going to absolutely dominate the guards for Portland. They kill in transition and off turnovers, and we know Portland's going to turn the ball over a lot. I think that's the biggest thing that happens in this game, and that's why we see these games just turn into blowouts, is Portland turns the ball over, and OKC in transition turns those into buckets almost every time, and that score just balloons. So, I mean, I'm fine with jumping in on OKC here. They kind of got back together. They lost those 2 games to both LA teams, and they got back on track with the win against Utah and the win against Minnesota. But they didn't really beat up on either of those teams. I think you could see OKC just make a statement.
They won against Minnesota as a dog, though. That has to be considered a good win. I mean, you beat
both a good win, but they didn't. I'm saying, like, you know how they were blowing teams out? I think this is one of those spots where they just blow a team out.
Yeah, they still got to win as a 3-point dog against the team with the best record in the West. So yeah. I give them credit for that.
They head to San Antonio tomorrow. There's no real look ahead spot there.
Okay, let me check the injury report real quick.
I see
basically nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Moses Brown, Shaden Sharp, but Shaden Sharp's been out forever, so all our numbers encapsulate the fact that he's out. I mean, do you want to do it? I actually don't hate it.
I don't hate it. The numbers like it. I'm fine with it.
The numbers don't, but I don't care. Because they're not. You just mentioned the matchup. My numbers don't. There's no. I don't input for head to head against each other. Maybe I should look into that. But it just seems like there'd just be too much noise. Do you see what I'm saying?
It could be because like a matchup like this.
With how far is it really going to go back? And it's just going to skew everything if they had a bad game. I'm not doing that. Okay. Yeah. Do we make it official?
I mean, we can come back to it.
All right. Are you ready for my favorite play of the day?
Let's hear it.
You already know where I'm going this one, right?
I actually don't know.
The Los Angeles Lakers take on the Los Angeles Clippers for the Battle of LA.
You've been on the Evil Empire a couple times recently, so I really don't know where you're going with this.
The Evil Empire is plus 9.5 going against the Steve Ballmer-led Los Angeles Clippers. The total is 234.5. I'm going superstar subtraction here, Tyler. Give me 9.5 points with the Lakers. I think they got some pride. I don't think they're going to let this Clippers team roll them over. And I think Braun being out's better just for this particular matchup for one game. Obviously, they're worse without him, right? But I think for this matchup, you kind of get away from Braun trying to work on their excellent wing defenders like PG and Kawhi and just feed AD and D'Lo, who I think have better matchups, because the Clippers' weaknesses is going to be in the middle with Zubac out and the wing, right? If they got Harden and Westbrook out there. I love this matchup for Los Angeles with LeBron out, and I got 3 extra points. If he was playing and this was the 6.5, which I expected, I wouldn't bet this game. But I think we're getting value here at 9.5. I'm going on some superstar subtraction. What do you think? Yeah, it killed me last night with Trey, but I'm going back to the well, Tyler.
I'm with you here. I think the Lakers could even win this game outright. I mean, I think AD could absolutely smash this matchup. There's a 25-plus point AD, and the Lakers win at plus 370. I think that's a good bet. You get a nice price on it. I don't think they win the game unless AD absolutely smashes. So his performance.
That's the only reason I don't want to play it yet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So but betting is
he's going to play though, right?
I think he plays. I mean, did you see the stat where of all NBA stars in the last I think it's 9 months, he's the one with the most games played. So he's actually been healthy for a while now. And I know we give him a lot of shit for being an injury-prone guy, but he's played a lot recently. He's putting a lot of
right. I talked about it before, right? We always remember what happens first. When you have injury for a lot of years, everyone just gets in their head. He's always hurt.
Yeah, but okay. I definitely like your take on that. I love AD's props in this game. I think he could absolutely smash this matchup. And I mean, I'm not gonna fully get in on D'Lo because I see your logic with he has a great matchup. I think his name is also in trade talks. He's probably on his way out the door. Maybe I go to more of an Astaire.
He could quite quit too. Did you see he unfollowed all the Lakers shit and took it off his bio?
Yeah, so I mean, I think he could be on his way out the door. Maybe I float that towards an Astaire.
What do you mean? He's definitely on his way out the door.
Yeah, I think didn't they say Atlanta would? Atlanta just doesn't want him, or that trade would have been done already? Who
would want him? Which team sits there? We went into this even with De'Aaron Fox when they were doing the Fox Halliburton. Who needs a point guard? Nobody.
Yeah,
everybody does, or they're not trying to get better. Yep. Like the Spurs, he would help the Spurs. The Spurs aren't trying to win this year, right? I mean,
that's a spot to send him, but I don't think that he's going to end up there. I can see him ending up like a Hornet or something spread.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think Atlanta just
why would Charlotte give up assets at this point? It would have to be salary
Atlanta's whole thing is that they want a third team involved in this trade to send DeJounte Murray to the Lakers. They don't want Russell. That's the thing. So it's finding the place for Russell. That's why
Nobody wants Russell.
I think Charlotte could just be a dump off for.
Why would they send him to the Lakers? They're going to get nothing in return.
I mean, that's how the NBA works, Fred. Got to load up LeBron.
I guess though. You got 3 picks for Pascal Siakam. All right. Well, we'll see what happens, but. Yeah, okay, stay away from Russell props tonight. I'm just saying he could get hot.
Oh, he definitely could get hot, but I'm staying away from him.
And we could also say the other way, he could just jack shots up.
Yeah.
Right, and if he gets hot, I mean, we're covering for sure. So, okay, Tyler, I made 3 bets. I just went ahead and decided. I bet the New York Knicks -4, the Oklahoma City Thunder -13.5, and the Los Angeles Lakers +9.5. Would you like to add any bets to our NBA betting card today?
We're not playing that under in the Nuggets game?
That was the one I was considering. I kind of like it.
I like
it.
Yeah.
All right. 4 plays for tonight. There we have it. This was fun, Tyler. I wasn't expecting you to show up, but I was glad you did because I was running late on the projections. So that was kind of cool. And then, of course, some nice back and forth here. I know it's okay when I do it by myself, but I know that they're much happier when you're here. Any final words before we log off? Any player props you love?
I mean, let's see if we could just build a little quick long shot parlay on the teams that we like to win. I think Denver wins the game, so I'm fine with getting a Jokic performance double in here. Let's see.
That's fine with me.
We got him 25 plus points in win at +104, 30 plus in win at +190. 10 plus assists and win at +190, triple-double and win at +255, 15 rebounds and win at +320. Any one of those stick out to you? I really don't want to touch his points because he seems like he's just kind of taking the shots off against these bad teams.
I don't know. He was 15 for 20 against Washington.
I guess so.
I would take the points.
Take the points. We'll go 25 plus.
Because you can only be helped by the Porter Jr. news there.
Yeah. Let's head to the Knicks game. Do we want to target a Brunson or do we want to go into the front court with a Randall?
Brunson.
There's a Brunson.
You got a matchup, don't you?
Yeah, there's a Brunson 30 plus in win at 2-1, 4 plus threes in win at +290, a double in win at 3-1.
4 plus threes.
4 plus threes?
Yeah.
Let's go to the OKC game. This one, I mean, I think we could just bounce around from any other guys. Chet, SGA's performance doubles are going to be, the numbers on them are going to be huge.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams, 20 plus and win is plus 104. Chet to score 20 plus and they win is plus 158. SGA to score 35 and they win is plus 160.
That's
Isaiah
terrible.
Isaiah
Since we're
Joe,
doing a parlay, I don't like those. We're not getting enough payoff.
yeah, Isaiah Joe to hit 3 threes and they win plus 235. I don't hate that one. Chet 10 rebounds and they win plus 250. Chet double and they win plus 270.
I say
Any of those really stick out to you?
Double.
The Chet double.
Yeah.
So that gives us, those three gives us a 29-1 ticket.
All right, read it off one more time, then we're gonna sign off.
We got Jokic to score 25 and Denver Nuggets win. Brunson to hit 4 threes and New York wins, and Chet to double and OKC wins. 29-1.
All right, and we played the Denver Nuggets under 237.5. The Denver Nuggets, Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks -4 against the Brooklyn Nets. The Oklahoma City Thunder -13.5 against the Portland Trailblazers, and the Los Angeles Lakers. I can't believe I did it. Plus 9.5. All right, we will be back tomorrow. We'll be back over on Nuke the House, but on this channel, don't worry, you got more content coming because we're going to give you another great NFL breakdown on Thursday. We're bringing Jamie back after his excellent performance last week, and we only got 2 games, so hopefully we won't go over an hour, right, Tyler? But that should be a lot of fun as we determine who's in the Super Bowl. So you have all the plays. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Thank you.